We would now like to start the Innovative City Forum. The Innovative City Forum is an international conference for designing the future for global cities and lifestyles. We have invited experts from Japan and all over the world who are leaders of their respective fields in cutting-edge technology, art and creative, urban development, and economy and industry to have discussions, information exchange, and networking across different domains and fields. We would now like to invite Mr. Heizo Takenaka on behalf of the organizer, who is the chairman of the Institute for Urban Strategies, Mori Memorial Foundation, and president of Academyhills. President Takenaka, please. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I am Heizo Takenaka. This is the 7th Innovative City Forum, and I am overjoyed to see such great attendance. And I'm very grateful to all the supporters and hosts. As you may know, the Innovative City Forum, I believe, is a very unique forum. Technology is changing very rapidly, and our lifestyles, as well as our urban living, is changed. Cities are a very important birthplace for technology. And as technology grows and develops and our lifestyles change, we have to reflect more and more on what it means to be a human being in this era where art comes at the forefront. Art, design, city, technology, these different topics and themes are fused to inspire and stimulate one another. It was back in 2013 that here at the Roppongi Hills, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Roppongi Hills, we started the Innovative City Forum, and we welcomed the 7th this year. And the fact that we started this forum in 2013, I believe, is very meaningful, if I may say so myself. In the year before 2013, in 2012, there was a groundbreaking evolution in AI, artificial intelligence. This is according to Professor Yutaka Matsumoto, who is the expert. This was when deep learning came into play. And at that time, Professor Landers also wrote a very inspiring book. And actually, in 1972, the Roma Club released a very famous book on the limits of growth. And Professor Landers, who was part of this, after 40 years, has looked back on what are the progress from the 1972 to and then looked back or beyond to 2052. So what should be done and what will happen in the next 40 years. So that was 2012. Environment was changing, the technology was changing, and reflecting these changes, the 2013 Innovative City Forum was started. Of course, we were not entirely conscious of the rapid change to come, but as we look back, the years from 2013 has been very dynamic. I am very blessed to have such wonderful presenters today and to have the interactive discussion with the members of the audience. I hope that the 2 days here at the Roppongi Hills will be a source of inspiration for all of you. In the Mori Art Museum, we are having this very innovative exhibition on the future and the arts. And this Innovative City Forum is actually collaborating with the Future and Arts exhibition at the Mori Art Museum. Also, we have the session of the Japan Foundation, as well as the World Economic Forum, which is hosting the Davos. Every year, we hope that we can create one innovation at least. For example, or innovating the way that we conduct these forums. So the program committee has had discussions on how we can innovate every year. This year, we have innovated the brainstorming session. To this year's topic is big data. Compared to the previous years, we hold this brainstorming session in the evening so that we can have more people participate in the brainstorming. Also, we have the hub session, hub meaning the access. The reason being that, of course, it's important to have this kind of a large hall sessions, but also to discuss multiple topics, having a short 30-minute session with about 30 people participating to have more of an interactive discussion. Such a hub session will be held tomorrow. This is a new trial, and I hope that you will also participate in that. In any sense, I'm very glad to have your participation in spite of a busy schedule, and let's truly inspire one another. And this year's topic, designing the future for gliding cities and lifestyles. I hope that this will be one trigger to design new cities and lifestyles. I hope that you will enjoy the two-day sessions. Thank you very much. Thank you, President Takenaka.
So we would like to start the city brainstorming from now on. Professor Takenaka, Professor Ichikawa, and President Nanjo, please be on the stage. And a round of applause, please. In the city brainstorming, we would like to collect the comments and opinion of the audience in the form of questionnaire. We would like to proceed in an interactive manner. Are you all ready? Please bring your smartphone in front of you, and we would like to ask Professor Takenaka to proceed. So I'd like to start the session. You are all aware, every year we have at the outset of this forum, we will be carrying out questionnaires, and this is going to be the basics for a discussion that will proceed from now on. Please bring your smartphone up, and are you ready? Are you ready to bring your answers? Do you have the technology with you? Are you all right? So let's just have a test here. This is just testing. So we would be showing you such things. These are the questions. It's a trial. So we would like to check whether your smartphone would operate correctly. This is the question 0. After the consumption tax hike, did you decrease your consumption or spending? Yes or no? It is a simple question what an economist would create. So without any ado, please answer back. After the consumption tax hike, did you decrease your consumption or spending? If you say yes, 1, no for 2. So push or touch the button, please. Please.
Hi.
Yes. Yes. It is 150 people have responded. Yes, we have the responses here. Someone is not. Some of them are troubled. Maybe. Are you all right? Yes, as expected. Yes. No says 86% or 87%, and yes says more than 10%, I guess. So maybe Prime Minister Abe would be happy to hear this. So the system is well organized, operates well. So with Professor Ichikawa and Mr. Nanjo, they have come up with the questions. So can you show up Mr. Ichikawa's questions?
Hi. Ichikawa-san,
President, Mr. Ichikawa, could you explain? In tomorrow's session, we will be discussing the future of global cities. As you know, there are 4 functions: working, living, enjoying, and so on. And so I have given this a very wide question. In your mind, which is the following best city to work? One is my place of work is close to my home. I can work wherever I want with no constraints. And second idea, I can work. First answer, my place of work is close to my home. Second answer, I can work wherever I want with no constraints. Third, I have access to many places where I can relax and refresh. And fourth, there are sights and scenery nearby that I find comforting. So I only have one question from myself. Which of the following cities will best define the city that is easy to work in? It's a single answer. Just answer one. Do not pick two. Please pick one answer and press the button. A, close to work. Number 2, no constraints. Number 3, relaxing and refreshing. And number 4, relaxing scenery.
Ah, これはなかなかどう評価する
Maybe we can discuss how we can interpret this later. Any impressions? Mr. Ichikawa? It's very interesting. I myself wanted more answers for number 4. Not just nature, but relaxing sights and scenery. I think it's a very good answer. I think Professor Ichikawa's comment is very interesting as well. So there was one question from Mr. Ichikawa, and from Mr. Nanjo, we have 3 questions. So let's pick up the pace. So Professor Ichikawa's question was rather direct, but my question is more broad and vague. First question, do you think that the problems of the future will be resolved through technology or art? It's a very simple question as well. So let's not think too deeply about what kind of answer Mr. Nanjo is looking for. Just please answer whichever comes to your mind. About 170 answers. How do you find this answer? And this is very interesting as well. Last year maybe it was culture and art had a higher portion, but this year technology is gaining ground. We have asked a similar question in the previous years, and I think art had the majority, but this year technology has gained the majority. And maybe the green, neither is pointing to both. Next question, please. Will capitalism remain the dominant economic system forever, or will there be another economic system? This is being debated very heavily these days. It's a hot topic. So capitalism will remain dominant, another economic system will emerge, or I don't know. Wow. Maybe capitalism is seeing the end of its days. This means more work for economists, perhaps. Or maybe economists are meaningless. I think that there is an expectation, hope, that such a new system will emerge. In any case, this current system cannot continue, and change has to occur. I think that is the broad understanding. And the third question from Professor Nanjo, or Q4. In the future, will humanity be happy? Humanity will be happy, not be happy, or I don't know. It's a very easy to understand, clear-cut question. Please answer. Thank you. More than half answered, yes, humanity will be happy. You are very optimistic. The world itself is very pessimistic, but the people here are very optimistic. I think, Professor Landers, you may have to comment on this later during your presentation.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much indeed. So I have prepared some questions, and I want you to answer my questions as well. First, do you believe that with the ongoing development of technology, big data will have a decisive influence over the direction of economy and social life? Big data's importance and the platforms that operate. I think the roles and there are some challenges faced by them. So, one, I agree strongly that it will control big data. Two, I agree. Three, not so much. So whether you strongly agree or whether you don't or whether you feel it, agree. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, thank you very much indeed. I think a quarter said strongly agree. That means yes, definitely. So the big data's existence is quite large. And based on this this evening, we would like to have brainstorming session. So I hope if you're interested in this, please participate in the evening session. Next question. With the increasingly fierce competition between the US and China over hegemony or dominance on technological fronts, such as big data and AI, well, it is rather a pressing question. Which do you feel has the advantage going forward? A, US-style free enterprise capitalism. 2, Chinese-style state capitalism. 3, undecided. So this is a very simplified question. As an economist, I'm very sorry to see this, but please press your button. Well, thank you for your answers. Yes. Seems to be that US style, Chinese style, we have similar figures, but I think this is putting importance on the role of the government. I think that's how you expect. But maybe 1/3 says undecided, so this is very interesting. Yes, the last question. With the dominance of platform providers such as Google, Amazon, and Alibaba becoming an issue, how do you think it should be dealt with? I think you are using those platform as services, and that is very convenient. Without this, we will be in trouble. So if you think so, A, we should use more of such services. 2, strong regulation should be put in place. That's number 2. And number 3, so I don't know, or you cannot choose. Yes, and this is very interesting. We have very few saying, I don't know. And I think there are people that is positive about this convenient services and also a stronger opinion demanding for stronger regulations. I think it has to do with the optimisms that we had seen earlier. Because this is convenient, we would have to use more. And I think majority has said that we need to use those services more. So for 7 of those questions you had answered, and for each of them you had shown your opinion, various opinion. Let's go back to Professor Ichikawa's question. The first question raised by Professor Ichikawa. So where do you want to live is the actual question. And he said it's interesting. And can we have that? Well, we had a well-balanced type of answers. Can you interpret Professor Ichikawa on this? Well, it's too small to see for me to read which is which. You can look back, We have it on the screen as well. Oh. Yes, the reason for asking this question is that, of course, for human being, you work, but you play, you relax, and you do have various times. So for working, I think many people is thinking about what to do from now on, and there is a big theme, is telework. Telework has started. I am a chairman of the Telework Association. I'm not promoting it, but this is a boom now. For the next year's Olympics, Tokyo is promoting telework. if we have more of a telework, what would happen? What I think is that, is it happy for you? It means that you can work wherever you want. Maybe you don't want to work at a certain period of time with off time and on time. But telework, you can even work at vacation. So it may lead to you working during the vacation. Can we go to that extent? That is a big theme. And at the same time, as for the landscapes, without nature, an urban or city will not exist. That was what has happened in the 20th century. But recently, there is another theme. There is a good nature, but if you have an impressive landscape, that is good. Tokyo is the same thing.
Creating new sceneries or landscapes. We see that in Tokyo, we see that in Singapore, and in many cities in the world. So creating an artificial scenery, it could be one aspect of a great city. So that's what I wanted to confirm by asking this question. And whether the workplace is close to home, whether you have to commute to work or be much closer, I wondered which is better, whether it's like in walking distance or whether to commute. And I think these four answers were very well balanced. So I think I asked a good question. Is there anybody from the audience that needs to speak out and say something? No? Is telework really, will that lead to well-being and happiness? What do you think, Professor Ichikawa? We work anywhere. We can work from home. We can work anywhere. And so I do sometimes reflect whether this is the best way to work, and I'm not sure whether that applies to everybody. In the Academyhills library or in the Starbucks on the first floor, we see many people working. So it's not that everybody has to be stuck in the office to work. And cities are creating new experiences. Mr. Nanjo, is there one question that you would like to especially focus on amongst the three questions that you posed? No. With regards to your questions, I felt that the capitalism is really facing a large challenge. And the fact that so many people are looking at an economic system that is not capitalism, I think was very interesting. However, I don't think anybody has a clear idea what the new economic system could be. And in the pre-event before the ICF, we had various discussions. And the communism and the socialism linked ideas to controlling capitalism. I think that there are a wide range of topics that could be discussed. Daniel Bell from Harvard, the socialist from Harvard University, said that in the world there has never been a perfect capitalism nor a perfect socialism. Even in the US, there is some control by the state. And even the Soviet Union had some free economy. So there's no perfect capitalism. However, I do think that there needs to be a change in the direction from the current capitalism. Are there any comments from the audience? I'm sure that we could speak all day. This is a very broad topic, but I hope that you will participate in the following sessions with these topics in mind. And from the three questions that I asked, let me touch upon the question 2, whether the US system or the Chinese capitalism will have preference. Can you show the question? So, US-style free enterprise capitalism or Chinese-style state capitalism? Can you please show that question? So which is better, the US-style or Chinese-style? This is gaining more focus with the fierce competition between the two countries. So we found that this was a rather balanced answer, but the Chinese state capitalism had higher answers. UNCTAD is doing a very interesting survey, and in 102 countries, the roles of the state expanded. there are 190 or so countries in the UN. So over half of these countries are strengthening the state or the role of the state in the economy. And I think that the Chinese-style state capitalism had great success in economic growth, and other countries are taking note of that. And the roles of the state is probably expanding with the changing environment. I believe that Professor Randa's keynote speech may touch upon this topic as well. And I believe that the audience shares that concern or that understanding to some extent. So we have only prepared these 7 questions for this first session, but I'm sure that you have a lot of questions in your minds as well.
革命というのが
So in the fourth industrial revolution, we are here at the start of the Reiwa new era, but at the Heisei era, that was the start of the digitalization. It was 1988 in US for the first time, internet on a commercial basis had been provided. That was in 1988. And Heisei era had started in 1989. So that was an era of digitalization. So the last 1/3 of the Heisei era, we started the fourth industrial revolution. That means emerge of AI, blockchain, and so forth. So rapidly, I think we thought that was a far future story, but now it's a surreal story for us. And we have a new cities and new industries arising from those new technologies. And we have been seeing future and arts exhibition at Mori Art Museum. We have those concepts looking at them by ourselves. So by having that in our mind, we would like to start the actual session, the real session. We have so many good sessions, as was mentioned earlier. Together with us, the Mori Foundation, Memorial Foundation, every year is announcing the world city rankings. Last year, Tokyo was number 3, London, New York. After that, Tokyo was 3, and 4th was Paris, and 5th was Singapore last year. And this is going to be announced in the afternoon. So we will be announcing this ranking as well. I hope you would focus on that as well. During this innovative city forum, we have a lot of things to do. So with these in your mind, and what we had just discussed now, having in your mind, I hope you would be stimulated. May I just raise one thing today? Out of 4 questions that I have asked, is there any places that you can relax? I think 1/3 said yes. This is keyword is good. Relaxing, that means changing your mind. Means in order to start another job, you need another energy. You need a place from a person who is creating the place. This is going to be 40-50%. We would like to do our best effort that this number be from 30 to 40. It has to do with creativity. Do you have anything to say, Mr. Nanjo, about creativity, as was mentioned by Professor Ichikawa? I think most of the things is related to culture. And when I say culture, you can understand this. Well, that means that we should not do something continuously. We should, of course, not protect something. Culture can do that without any paying some costs. The culture can bring that. That was a conclusion by Professor Nanjo, and I would like to end this session. So now the keynote speakers, please be ready, and we're looking forward to hear from them. Thank you very much, Professor Takenaka, Professor Ichikawa, and President Nanjo.